2020, and I'm drinking black coffee, and it is bitter beer face.
So
Nasty.
Dave just made a face that when he was 4 years old and didn't like something he ate, and it looked like the exact same face, which tells you
Nobody changes.
nobody changes, exactly.
All right, well.
Except when you were 4 years old, you would have projectile spit it up, and
this
time you drank it down.
Oh, we are finally, I got it. Beautiful. I just needed to get it. I got it. Nice is what I need. All right, so it's kind of apropos. Nice and clean 2020 first episode. And here we are on episode 60.
60. My age.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Um,
This year we will hit my age in shows.
well, that's the thing. We're probably only going to be doing 1 or 2 a month. So we're going deeper into... We're bringing back the Dave and Dave show, the real Dave and Dave show. You know what the real Dave and Dave show is?
What?
This is news to you. You see the face? He doesn't even know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming back to Tuesday.
Oh, you coming back with me?
Yes, Dave and Dave.
Wow.
So for the first, 6 years, we used to do the meeting just you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to toy with bringing back the, for the agents, just the agents only. We're going to go internal. And what's cool about that is they ask a lot of questions, so it's more interactive, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing both, but we're going to keep it fresh in here.
Did I give you an invite on Facebook to come?
I don't give a shit. I'm coming.
I'm coming.
And I'm cursing. It's all out this year, baby.
Oh boy.
You should have heard what this one said before we even put on the camera, but we'll leave that for another day. All right, I'm starting with a quote. So Lola, my daughter, walks in with a notepad this morning, and she's reading off of it, and everything's spelled incorrectly. But this is what she read to me. Never run away from fear because it will catch you. Fight it. And I said, Lola, did you get that from somewhere? And she goes, no. I was worried about bad dreams last night, so I wrote that down. And I was thinking, wow, the emotional intelligence
Of a 6.5-year-old.
of a 6-year-old, exactly. And it made me think of a lot of things. Like, it's crazy. I'm a voracious reader, tons of training, and we always say to them, face your fear, all the time, face your fear. And the fact that she was intuitive enough to kind of say, think about this, you cannot outrun your fears. And it's almost like in a horror film that you don't win until you turn around and actually fight it and face it. So I was super, super inspired by her today. I was like, I'm going to quote you today. And she was
Nice
so
thing
happy.
to figure out at that age. First grade?
First grade. And I said, but the second part of that, it's one thing knowing it. It's another thing. It's a completely different thing actually doing it. So she made me think of this thing that me and you talk about all the time. So I'm going to make him feel really uncomfortable. And what it inspired me was this thing of you don't have to play their game. We can play our own game. And this means a lot for both realtors doing daily real estate and owners of a real estate company who are running a brokerage in a super highly competitive city, industry, you name it, right? And one of the things I think people focus on that is completely incorrect is the wrong numbers, okay? So let's talk about it from an agent standpoint and from our standpoint. So from an agent standpoint, what number would be wrong to focus on?
The money you're going to make.
See, I disagree.
Okay. I never did.
We're going to get there. The next one is you can be committed to only 2 things, profit and purpose. That's why you got to look at the roll call before we start.
No. I'm
So-
going to give my answers whether I look or not.
2020, same old game.
You want a yes man? You got the wrong guy.
So for instance, I personally believe focusing on the amount of transactions or volume you do is the wrong thing,
the same
especially volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so from a realtor standpoint, they, you know, everyone goes, "Oh my God, you did 60 million in volume."
Yeah, well, then it could be 2 deals if you sold $30 million home.
It also depends on how much they charged,
Mm-hmm.
how much they referred,
Mm-hmm.
how much they paid, what their acquisition costs were
Mm-hmm.
per deal. So what does this mean? It means that you may be a discount realtor. Can I say discount realtor?
You said it, so.
I didn't say what that entails.
No.
Listen, you can be the cheapest realtor out there, totally focus on volume, not focus on quality of each interaction, right? You can pay $5,000 per transaction to acquire the lead, right? You could be doing online leads, and it looks like you're doing 60 million, but your 1099 says you made 500,000 less than what it looks like on paper, right? Because a $60 million realtor, if you take 2 or 3%, is making $1 million, right?
And it's the same way you get an agent that it says they did 310 deals and they have a team of 15 and put every deal in their name. Did they do that deal? No, they just had it put in their name. So it's a false narrative of who they are.
As well as many small businesses or even large businesses out there that say we have a 75 million top line revenue, which means that they generated $75 million in sales, which is impressive, but what are your margins? What are you taking home? They may be spending $74 million. So, and then the second part is how many deals. Now, the volume in deals will probably get you there overall, but what I'm focused on is profit. What does the 1099 say? So same thing in the broker game. And it's kind of like this underlying like broker wars, like, you know what I mean? Like the Cold War. But like who can hire the most agents, right? And I believe that when you focus on that number, you're missing the boat completely.
I agree with that.
Right. So, for instance, there's another company that's a little bit larger than us. And maybe they have 100 more agents than us, right? And their Green Valley and Summerlin office combined is probably like 450 agents, right? We have 265 agents in this office in Summerlin, and we outperform those two branches combined. So 265 agents outperform 450 agents. That's why you gotta really know your numbers and what you focus on, right? And what happens is if you focus on the wrong numbers, you end up with the wrong results. You end up with unintended consequences and results. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, but they're going probably for a different thing, just numbers, volume. They hire, wait a minute, they go like this. Pulse, you're hired.
Now here's the problem. My own opinion. If you're in your own business, let's just say, let's look at it from a company that does 75 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
If their margin is 2%, this is not a real estate company, just talking general, right? If their margin is 2%, they're taking home 1.5 million, okay? That means that they have to take massive risk in order to take home a little reward. Now it's a big number, but it's not a big number compared to 75 million, right? So what I affectionately call this going to China to get to Mexico, right? It's going the complete long way of getting there. So when I talk to my CEOs and other businesses, when I talk to agents and we have this conversation, I'm like, you got to focus on the right numbers. So for us, it's focusing on how much money on average our agents are making. What are they, at the end of the day, how much are they making, right? Because this is the time of the year where we're going to start doing awards and things like that. We get to see all the numbers, right? One person may have made 150 and the other person made 150, but they both got there very differently. One may have got there with 10 deals, and one may have got there with 25. One may have spent $5,000 in marketing, one may have spent $30,000 in marketing. When you start looking at people's different numbers, you start going, wait a minute, which one would I rather have? Would I rather have done 25 deals and spent $30,000 to get to $150,000 commission? Or would I have wanted to spend $5,000 and got there in 10 deals?
Mm-hmm.
We all know the answer to that, correct?
Yep.
You want to get there in the shortest point.
Sure.
Exactly. So when I say you don't have to play their game and play your own game, last year, exactly this time, we pulled ourselves out of the game.
Yep.
But it's hard.
Well, it's hard, but it gets easier. There's my answer. You start realizing that the person that says to you, oh, I want to work, but I work this job and I'm not really going to focus, and it gets easier to say that this isn't the right company. We're not looking for bodies, we're looking for production. So it gets easier.
And it's not like even before that we were just hiring everybody. We were focused on still growing, which we are growing, but we did almost 50 million more this year
Than we did last year.
with 25 less agents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what is the ancillary effect of this? More time for your existing agents, more time spent on double downing on values that are for our existing people, not spent on a marketing budget to go get new people. You know, that was always so counterintuitive to me. I'd say, compare your marketing budget versus your budget to innovate and add value and spend money on the people you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This isn't interesting yet?
It's getting long.
Gotcha. Okay. You could, see, this is why we want to do 1 or 2 a month. So we're only committed to 2 things, profit and purpose. So I agree with you on the first one, the 1099, it matters more, how much money you're making, right?
Yep. And how you're getting there.
The purpose is such a huge point.
The
So we're gonna talk
purpose
about it.
is totally different.
But they need to be aligned.
Right.
No.
Right.
This
I
is
agree.
where you come in. I mean, you've done a good job. So you said you never focused on the numbers because you were focused on doing what?
Selling and getting my clients happy and just getting it done. I didn't go and say, oh, I did this quarter and I'm making this quarter and that quarter. I do it all. I go after everything and go at it and attack nature that I have.
So the good thing with you is you kind of were able to overcome and bootstrap. So you're the guy who, in my next level path, you're stuck in the 3rd level because you got to watch out for burnout. You need to scale, you need help, and then you need to attach purpose somewhere along the line. You see, you had amazing results because you were able to overcome and white knuckle your way through it.
I'm good at
That's your MO.
Mm-hmm.
Make it harder than it needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and listen, most people in your generation and even in mine are not afraid of rolling up their sleeves and going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other generation, they're kind of smarter in one way. They're like, all right, how can I make this efficient? And how can we use technology, things like that. But they may not have the gumption of rolling up their sleeves and going, different generation. That's why if you can combine the 2, you win, right? Being able to go and work hard. Well, so what I was going to say is you didn't have you didn't have the gift of knowing to manifest your results. Somewhere along the line, I mean, I was there. As the year went on, you kept pushing your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like you were oblivious and blind.
No, I'm not. I'm never oblivious to anything. But I just would. I didn't do as much as in planning as I did in working. But that was my way of doing it. Which then you get sometimes amazing results, and I went, "Oh my God, did I make all this money?"
Tony Robbins' great quote: "What you focus on expands."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is what we're talking about. What numbers are you focusing on, and what are you focusing on as far as what you want to make a change? So if you focus on the amount of money you want to make and the amount of lives you want to help, and you focus just on that, boom, everything changes. And then, like you, where you're natural is your desire to care and help people at the highest level. There's zero coaching you need in that. Except for maybe pulling it back sometimes a little bit.
Except for doing the transaction now.
Right? But that resonated, even without a system, your own wacky system, and even without a ton of help. You had a transaction coordinator. Even when I came aboard, I did my own thing. I really didn't know.
I wouldn't work in a company without transaction coordinators. Because you talk about focus. The minute you don't have a transaction coordinator in the office to focus and to help you on that transaction so you can move on to new. So transaction coordinator to me is your left hand. You know,
you got to have compliance. It just is what it is.
But you got to have a transaction coordinator too. Someone in there that you could walk in the office and say, my deal is going this way. I need you to do this, this, and this, and this, and this happen. If you're doing it yourself, which you can, that time away is taking away from working. And that's why I always had a transaction coordinator in the office.
What do you think the ideal size of a real estate company is?
I think the ideal size is the size that you know every agent, and when you don't know who's walking through the door or what they represent, you've gone too big.
So that was the next thing. So the profile of a 2020 real estate consultant, which that's my 2020 way of saying you're a realtor. I'd be careful to say this in front of him because he's not an NAR, but use consultant of real estate services. Who wants to be like every other realtor in the town? I don't want them
I have
with
no
me,
problem.
but that's just
consultant.
me. The name Realtor, good luck. So the first thing I said was the Cheers TV show model. What? You guys know what Cheers TV is? So Cheers was a show, and in the song it was "I Want to Go," where everybody knows
My name.
where everyone knows your name, right? Exactly. So we're in this world where like you could just sign up at some of these companies and you never meet anyone. You have an avatar and it's just like, good luck.
Yeah.
Off you go. Right? Even my coach in Laguna says that 7 hours, because we do 1 month a day, or excuse me, one day a month. He says that we're there from like, I don't know, 10 to 5, 9 to 6, right? Whatever. He's like 7-8 hours with me. I can get so much more of a difference with that person than 6 months of online trading. Right? One day. Right? So you want to go to a place where it's personalized service, everybody knows your name, and there's actually a place to go.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to talk it off?
I'm listening.
I sent you the text yesterday of what we're going to talk about.
I know, you didn't bring that up yet.
I just said profile of an ideal 2020 real estate company.
Okay.
One was
Number one to me is support.
his support. Okay? Keep going.
Support in staff, support in brokers, support in the office, support in classes, support in financial benefits. Those are all the supports I need for me to be happy in a brokerage. And if I don't have it, then I am not going to succeed.
You see, and I believe in support, but I believe in who is actually, I call it leadership.
That's great.
And it's who is at the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So someone was making a comment the other day about a marketing piece, right, on our Nest Connect, and something along the lines of like, I can't believe this company would allow that, right, a brand. And the reality is, a brand is only as good as
the leaders of the brand.
Leaders of the brand. I have great friends who own a fast food franchise company, and they could tell which of their franchisees are going to be successful and make amazing profit based on who the leadership is. Now you're talking about, you cannot get easier than this. The systems, the food, the product, it's all the same. It comes down to pretty much two things: location of the business and how it's run. That's it. So if systems are equal, which we've kind of come to that point, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of that threshold, that tipping point of where all the systems are pretty much the same. What's the difference?
Leadership.
The people.
Yep.
Right?
And it's funny because when we opened the restaurant all those years ago.
Someone may want to open a restaurant. You want to invest in it? I meant to ask you.
I would, only restaurant I'd invest in is if I was running it.
It's the worst. Keep going. In a restaurant, I'd put you at a...
And they said, you're never going to make it. You don't know it. You don't this, you don't that. A million excuses why we weren't going to make it. And we were the most successful restaurant opening in 12 years. I was telling the story yesterday, and I said, and I opened a restaurant, and I said, 12 years of success, and they said, wow, I expected you to say, and I bombed like everybody else in 6 months, because the reputation of restaurants is they fail. But I said, we were, I'll be nice and not use knee deep in the business, that we were so dedicated to it that we crushed our way through it.
Knee deep in shit? Was that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say balls in.
Balls in.
He made me say it. So what I'm saying is that everyone else, then like 6 other people, decided if these idiots could do it, we're going to do it too.
And they failed.
And they all failed. So commitment of leadership is probably, your owners, your brokers, whatever it is probably one of the key things to success.
It's always the people.
Yep.
I mean, and it's going to be even more of the people as this decade unfolds. I believe that 100%. I mean, I can't say it enough. The currency of 2020 to 2030 is not going to be big data. It's going to be relationships, and relationships are basically people. Simple as that. Everything else is going to be white noise, and the only people who are going to break through are the people who are real and care and connect
And do the right thing.
I was going to say give a shit, but
Yeah.
yes. So
do the right thing seems to be a new.
So I said education in tech, right? But I put a question mark with education in tech, because I've been to some tech classes. I have signed up for some technology. I have been around this predictive analytics, some of these companies, and they're all poo-poo.
Mm-hmm.
They're garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to create this huge ISA, so in-sales sales assistant. It becomes this huge numbers game to justify the leads, and you're getting these tiny percents, and it's just, it corporatizes the whole entire experience, and it's terrible. So with education, you know how many CEs I've sat in and I'm like, I cannot sit one more second with this person who does not do real estate, has no clue what they're talking about, and they're just sharing terrible information and making an already uneducated and ignorant and unprofessional membership worse. The quality of the education. That's why we fought over that new initiative, and I wasn't in the room, but you were telling me about it, right? There's going to be more education now, right? Requirements.
Yeah, requirements for a broker.
Now, in general, it seems great. But if the people teaching it are garbage, then it's just another 6 hours in a classroom.
Well, and that's hopefully something we can get better.
So the people, when a company says we're offering education, we're offering sales education, we're offering marketing education, we're offering negotiation education, show me who's doing it, show me their results, and show me people that they have coached that have had results. If not, shut up and get out of the room.
Get out of the way. Yeah.
Just get out of the room. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want people to teach me from theory. I want people to teach me from experience. Right?
On the level of sophisticated broker agent, I agree. On the level of a newbie, maybe they'll get something good.
I mean, don't get me wrong. A teacher's better than no teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then if I want to learn how to do something and I want to compress the amount of time to learn it in, I'm going to go to the absolute best person to show me the results. I want to go to the Olympic skier to show me how to ski.
Well, sometimes you have to learn who the absolute best is, and then you could start going.
And that's the shame. You get some good marketing and good social media. You can get anyone to believe anything. Right? You gotta love today. It's the land of all right. What else about an ideal real estate company in 2020?
I know they say that everything you could work in the cloud and do this and do that, but to me, to walk into a company that has a beautiful conference room and makes me look professional with equipment working and your clients relaxed and comfortable is a very big thing. I've lived in both worlds, and when I came in with clients and the equipment didn't work and it looked horrible, you fall apart before you start. So to me, where you're meeting in Starbucks like they talk about, that doesn't work. There's a million distractions going on.
Is the Wi-Fi working?
Does the Wi-Fi work? Can I print? Now they're asking for this. I need to be in a professional office environment for our meetings to set up my first meeting, my second meeting, my negotiation. I need to have that to be successful. I need it. And I believe most agents do. Since our conference room is always full and booked, our conference rooms.
Yeah, we had to push someone out of here today. They were so accommodating. They took the smaller one because in the back it's like an earthquake in there. I also was redundant here. I said to be a great realtor, to be a great real estate company, you have to focus on the numbers that matter. We already talked about that. I believe we need to meet you where you're at. You gotta have the capability of meeting where you're at.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning if you're a brand new agent, if you're
Oh, you're talking about agents.
a 10 deal a year agent,
Well, that's
20 deal a
I
year
think
agent,
you address that at next level.
the next level path.
Right. I think that's what it is, because it deals with new, making a certain amount of
But
transactions, moving up.
The problem is, do you have, the reason why I came up with it, I was like, no one else has this customized program to actually say, okay, most companies have your brand new program and your experienced agent program, right? And then you try to throw everyone into the experienced agent program, which you have people with like 5 people doing 100 deals and people who are doing 10. Completely different. So meeting you where you're at and having a place for you in that and a customized program, different game. I mean, think about it. A lot of people get stuck in no man's land. Like, what do I do next?
Yeah. Or how do I increase my business? And there's a lot of agents out there that are very talented, experienced, and they can't get the transaction numbers up for themselves.
Totally.
And just because you're a great agent doesn't make you a great marketer of yourself. So I agree with that.
Okay. That's all you got, huh?
No,
What? Go for it.
no. I'm saying support is my number one thing. And then I say that I need tools, the brokerage to offer me tools for my success.
Okay.
And then just get out of my way. No, I'm only kidding. And then I always wanted a broker, and I'm a broker myself, but you always want someone to bounce off situational transactions and feel that you're confident in going the right way in it. So that was important to me. I never wanted a broker that worked against me, was out working on the street, and I was going in and couldn't get them because they were working, or they were working on the same listing I was, trying to get it. So I always wanted a broker that wasn't my competition. It was important to me. I didn't want to walk in and have the owner or the broker against me, because it's pretty hard to win that.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I want.
Go ahead.
Since I'm not an old timer, I would. I'm not you. Not that you're an old timer. I'd want an online community.
We have that.
Right, where I can bounce things off my colleagues, which hopefully are doing great business, are ethical, and I can trust their advice. I'd want someone, at least one or two people at the company that is always above me, whether it's an agent or a leader or a broker that knows what I don't know, who's been through it before, who's seen it all. So I'd want the Yoda of the company, right? I'd want events that I can go to and reasons to come into the office, because I wouldn't want to be isolated and on an island, right? I'd want courses and programs to continually learn. I'd want awards and opportunities to win just so that I can push myself. I'd want areas of growth, and I'd want a place that I can contribute in a giving back way, whether it be charity or whatnot. And I'd also want some level of training and coaching from my support system. And I want multiple locations so that regardless of where I am, I can pop in, hit the Wi-Fi, print some stuff if I have to print, sit in a nice climate controlled, blazing fast Wi-Fi with nice stuff that I could use like flat screen TVs in multiple locations, right? I'd want access. I'd want on-demand training, on demand where I can see it all the time. And I'd want not like middle of the night stuff, but I'd want that holy shit, break the glass, it's 8 o'clock, a deal is falling apart, I'm afraid I'm gonna get sued, everyone's screaming at each other, the house is on the line, the people are coming here ready to move in, and this isn't gonna close on time. Who can I call that's going to save me that Superman moment? That's what I want.
They're needy.
This is the reality of life.
Yeah.
This is the reality of what is expected in today's world. And I wouldn't want a broker spending a ton of time pushing me to go recruit other agents so that they can make more money and not focusing on how I can make more money doing real estate. I wouldn't want to be part of a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme, just so I can bring other shitty realtors on so that I can make money when I should be focusing on doing real estate and building my own legacy and my own business.
I agree with that.
Bam! Are you awake? Let's go! What do you think?
Sign on the dotted line.
What do you think?
Just come to our company. I have all that.
There are a couple companies that do this.
Yeah,
I'd give some shout outs. Some small ones, some big ones. But not enough. Not enough. Mm-hmm. If you're interviewing with us and you say one or two of these companies, we'll be like, if not us, you're going in the right direction. Right?
I also want a company, and I know this is something bad I shouldn't say, but I also want a company, if my life changes, that you don't steal from me on the way out.
Listen, you should judge a company on their exit policy.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yep. And if it's an agent or a broker, that you're working to be a broker or an agent, read your contract.
Most people don't, which is the biggest irony of real estate in general. An agent is supposed to know contracts inside and out to protect their client, but they won't read their own contract to protect themselves, which is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. Because it's like they fall for that same game. They're focused on the wrong numbers,
right.
Which are, what are you going to give me on a split? What are you going to give me on leads? How much can I get my office for? You're going to give it to me for less? And they're not focusing on, you know what, eventually this isn't going to work out, and what are they going to do to me on the way out? They got 10 in escrow, and they got maybe 70,000 in commissions ready to go, and they don't realize, say goodbye to $35,000 your commission, and you're like, oh shit, I can't leave now.
Because my contracts got me stuck in here. Happened to me.
And you're stuck in purgatory forever.
Yeah.
And you're just looking around, resenting the owner, resenting the brokers, resenting. How do they treat you on the way out?
I had one broker when I wanted to sign a contract to join, and he said, you can't take it with you. You could look at it here, but you need to be out of this room in 5 minutes. And I walked and got up and said, guess I'm not joining this company.
Wake up, people. Wake up. It's 2020. Couple things that are an absolute must. If you're an experienced agent, you should be at 100% company. End of the story. End of story. If you're making $200,000 and you're an experienced agent, and even if it's a 90-10, why are you giving away $20,000 of your money? Makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. Guess what? If they're going to screw you on the way out, don't go. Make them change it. Right? Or don't go. Who wants to be a company that's going to screw you on the way out?
I think that that's an old theory of the brokerages that take your money as you leave, and I think that people don't realize it. We have companies, I interviewed an agent that if they didn't stay a year, they owed the broker money. We have other companies that they have to sign a contract, and if they don't fulfill that contract, they owe them thousands of dollars. I thought we were an independent contractor. I thought that's what realtors are, independent contractors. Yet there's employment contracts, because they are. So where does your status stay as an independent contractor if you're signing employment contracts? I would ask for health insurance and death benefits and everything else.
They're not going to give it to you. They're going to offer you some fake ass health insurance. Oh, we do health insurance. Yeah, good luck. You do health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, come on. I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
I think that we're talking in a more, I'm not going to say sophisticated, but a more knowledgeable from being through it from all the years. And that most people don't know. So when I do the interview, I go, how could you sign that? And they said, we didn't know. That's the number one question. So the bottom line is,
that's what I was thinking.
Read your contract.
The rent's going to come due. And that when I say the rent's due, everyone now is in the penthouse because the market's been good now for almost 8 years. We're on a run. So guess what? Some people that should succeed shouldn't be succeeding right now because everyone's succeeding. But this is where realtors take notice. You don't mind as much giving up 15% of your commissions and settling for subpar support and leadership. You don't mind as much when the money's good. But what happens when the money's no longer good?
Then it gets tough. Then it gets hard to make a living and give that money and support away.
And when you're dealing with commission compression, less houses selling in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if prices start going the other way, your commissions are going to just shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. And that's when you want to get your biggest bang for the buck. So, guess what? You can apply this to also being an agent. Same exact thing. Just use every single one. Every agent's going to give their client education. What's the difference between agent X and Y today? They deliver the same, pretty much the same MLS, the same systems. They get all their same information from the same title companies, right? What is the difference between agent X and agent Y?
Service.
Them.
Service.
That's why I've always loved this business.
Because you shine if you do the right thing.
It's not like I have to sell you like a rate versus a rate in mortgages, like, right?
Your own business.
Well, even then, like, we've talked about this. Like, if I can only give you a 6% rate and he can give you a 5.5%, I'll be like, Dad, go get the 5.5%. But that deal may never work. So
right.
even in mortgages, there's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Cost
benefit.
I was talking to agents yesterday, and I said to them, people ask you what's the value of your commission, and I said write down from the day you met them to the closing every single thing you do, and I said you will have pages and pages of notes, and then if you meet a new client, say, here, read this. This is what I do to go to the end of the deal, the transaction.
It comes down to this. I just renovated my entire house, right? I would refer every single person except for one that worked on my house. I'd refer my electrician, my plumber, my painter, my cabinet guy, my quartz fabricator, every single one of them except my tile guy. Everything's falling apart already, but he was cheaper and he was fast because I had to get in the house. I may have to redo just from like, it's like okay work, but I could see it, you know what I mean? But like to the point where like you probably wouldn't see it when I came over my house, but I would refer him to you, or you, or you. So I have to pay twice in some instances.
And that's the difference of referral business.
And the person who referred me was supposed to be good. Same thing in real estate. You're talking about huge swings. There's an agent that's going to open the door and you're going to go, I love it, and you're going to be like, offer full price or you're going to lose it. You're going to lose this house as 3 other offers because they're bullshitting and they want their commission. This is what happens. This is real life real estate right here. Offer it, it's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they're only focused on what?
Commission.
Exactly. Whereas you're going to walk in, and one of our agents is going to walk in and go, comps don't support it. Let me get the information from the listing agent. Even if you lose it at this price, you'd be paying over $30,000 over price. You're going to save you a ton of money. People are dying for information. That's why they're using Open Door and Zillow and all them. They think that they're getting better information and they think that they're getting better deals only because they're trusting the wrong people. You're not getting a better deal with them. They're just packaging the information better.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a great agent, and there's tons of them out there, not as many as they should be, but there's tons of them out there are going to be like, no, you do not do this.
Right.
Right? Save you money. Or if you want to jump into the deep end of this pond, you're jumping in with your eyes wide open. Like this, you have to have this house. At this price, you're going to overpay a little, but you get to make the decision. That's a consultant.
Well, that's how I made my sister or your aunt Donna famous, right? Because I always say, would I sell this, whether it's a transaction, a house, would I sell it and tell my sister to go through with it? Because I love her and I would want to be 1,000% honest. That I've ruled that way for 42 years and never been sued.
The problem with this now, though, is people hear that and it goes right through one ear and out the other. They see some amazing marketing piece and they're like, I want to go with that agent. And they're not seeing what the quality is, and they're just falling for the flash and the nonsense. And they're not seeing the substance. Does this person have my best interest? You got to be careful of the marketing you see from somebody, because the more they spend on marketing, the more they got to charge you.
And I could talk about an agent in one of my prior companies and used to say, buy this house because you're going to make $30,000 to $40,000 right after you buy it. And I'd say, wow, he made the sales and got on all sorts of awards, but man.
If you have an agent say that to you, run. Because what they should say to you is, listen, based on the projections and where you bought it at, you have a great opportunity to make 5% this year. But there's no guarantees. There's a potential war right now happening. That, whatever happens with Iran and Trump, could positively or negatively affect our market. That is completely out of any of our control.
You bet.
Zoning, things like that. There's no guarantees in life, people. So if someone's giving you a guarantee, they're full of shit. End of story. Right?
No guarantees.
No guarantees. So, I don't know how many different ways we could tell you this, but you got to do the work and do the right thing. Not necessarily easy things to do. Right?
And be kind.
I agree with that. Empathy, emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Because we've been through it, but we're hardcore buyers and sellers. But a lot of, they're scared.
Of course.
And so be kind. Don't be,
The best,
try to put yourself in their shoes.
The best thing a buyer or seller an agent can do is buy or sell a house.
Yeah. And then they get right back into it.
All rationale goes out the window, even when you know this inside and out. Exhibit A is my wife. Like, literally, I don't think you want to buy this house. I don't think you were committed to buying. I'm like, there's 20,000 more houses. It is what it is. All right, let's bring in Ashley. Come on in. Oh, let's switch these chairs. Oh, okay. You need a chair? No.
Easy on.
Yeah.
Hello, Ashley.
The hot seat.
Oh, wait, make sure we're on here.
I got no, sir. You're good. One sec.
You guys close that door. So,
Yeah.
for you guys on Facebook Live, what we're doing is we have videographers in here that are also recording everything, so that in the future they can cut it up and edit it and make us look good, right? They get the sound bites. Sometimes they get a lot of info. You think they got a lot of info today?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know if they could take 20 pounds off me.
I was wondering that about myself too.
Yeah.
Can we use that footage
Yeah.
and Photoshop it?
Yeah.
No, you are who you are. Real.
Oh.
What I always say about video is get over it. That's what you look like.
You told me that the first time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you video.
Because if you don't like video, then you might as well just stay in your house all day because that's what you look like.
So you want real, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You want us to start over, gentlemen? You want me to start now?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. So we have special guest
That would be me.
Ashley Remington and Steele. Remember Remington and
I
Steele?
do. You're showing your age again.
You know?
I had a high school teacher that used to call me Remington Steele.
Really?
And I was like, I don't know what that is.
How old are you? You in your 30s?
37.
All right. Come on, you're not like you're young compared to
So-
me. I'm 42.
Woo!
I'm 49.
Yeah, so, well,
49.
so
yes.
Remington Steele was around in the 80s, right?
Pierce-
I was born
Pierce
in
Brosnan,
82.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He still looks good, by the way. You see him on the Golden Globes?
Yeah, no.
Oh, it's hysterical. All right, so we have special guest Ashley Remington and Steele with lawyers title of Nevada. Not Nevada, Nevada.
Nevada.
We got her phone number down here. We have her email. So we've had Ashley on before, but for those of you who haven't seen her before, I want to make a huge distinction. Ashley is a sales representative for lawyers, but she has actually done the work in the trenches as an escrow officer.
For a long time.
So very few people can say they've done it both. So when you're getting her, you're getting someone who understands what exactly is going on the other side and can actually go right to the root of the problem rather than just trying to figure it out, right?
Exactly. Well, and you had me on my very first podcast a year ago, and I was a total nervous wreck, and the videography threw me off a little for nerves because I thought I had this down today. I've gotten a lot more comfortable with you guys.
Yep.
But now I've got 15 months under my belt with the whole sales thing. So looking back over a year ago when you guys first had me, of course, I had no idea what I was doing with the sales position, and to be honest with you, sometimes I still don't, and I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way sometimes in sales.
No.
Never. No.
Not you guys, but you guys.
I'm kidding you.
But you guys out there. I wasn't sure how my escrow experience fit into the sales position. You get all this new sales knowledge, and then how does my escrow background apply when people need help building their marketing? They're generating leads and whatnot.
Making business, yeah.
Yeah, so now, it does help because when you're meeting different agents and you've got the experienced ones that don't need lead gen and they just need that support, that additional support of, hey, I can do your signings and I can be the face of your title company, at whatever branch you're at, so you don't have to use a strange notary, whatever it is. I want to be that service to them, so it's been kind of cool to just see my little journey so far.
Yeah. And what happened was you went into that position and someone else left, and since we own this company, we got to pick who we wanted and for our rep for the whole company, and we picked you. And the reason we did is real. You're real.
I'm real.
Ton of energy, because we don't need someone coming and going, hi, how's, and not afraid to take any challenge that was there. And
you're here.
15 months, you have done all that. So kudos to you.
Thank you. And you know what? Because you guys put me, it was a challenge for me. And I went and I signed up for coaching, and I was like, I gotta bring the heat. These people have a high standard of business, and I have to rise to the occasion. And I can tell you that I know that turning point for me where I saw, signing up for coaching in July and just seeing where my confidence grew and my relationships grew. I knew what I was saying. I knew what I was doing. I knew that just by being my authentic self, I didn't have to convince people to meet with me or sell anything. I'm not a salesperson.
So stop right there. Listen to what she just said.
How about
She
that?
said my confidence grew, my whole persona I felt more comfortable. That is the difference of a coach and a leader
Yep.
that you need. And I always say, that was actually, I don't even know, you backed into that amazingly, because you proved that it's all about having someone there to make you feel like you're not alone and you can do this, right? And I always say, you know how kids spell love? Time. That's how kids spell love, right?
Sure.
Guess what? That's how we all spell love, and that's how we spell not being alone. The amount of time you spend with somebody,
Exactly.
right? That's why agent broker count, sales executive to agent count.
Mhm.
If you're able to put in the time, you win. And she's like a fixture here.
I am.
I love
Yeah.
seeing you,
I'm here more than I'm at my own branches.
which is the way it should be.
I agree. I'd
Yeah.
rather be here.
How are you going to help people at your own branches, right? I mean,
Right.
which it's kind of crazy because you were at the kind of the middle to last part of the transaction,
Mhm.
and now you're before.
Right.
And you're meeting like crazy. I always see you in there
Yeah.
meeting agents. Are they calling you or you calling them?
They're starting to call me now, and it's a pretty
Yeah.
cool thing because the first 6 months or 9 months, I'm calling them, and they're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And now I call, they're like, "Oh yeah, we see you," and it's the videos and just making my calls and being here. I mean, I was meeting with somebody here yesterday that goes, "Oh my gosh, Dave's probably shocked that I'm actually here in the office," and so like it makes me feel good that I'm bringing people out of the woods that you
That's
don't
why
even
I
see.
smiled and waved. Well, we get to talk to them on the phone, but we don't see them. But and the great thing for you is it's great in your position, but if you work for a crappy title company,
Mhm.
put this out on the line,
Yeah.
that doesn't do a good job or exorbitant fees or doesn't get it done, man, you could be a rep, but you're repping a crummy product.
Right,
In your case, you have the best escrow officers in the city.
it's true.
Your company is so strong, your leadership, we could call from the top all the way down and they call us back and immediately.
Mhm.
I can't say enough. Like someone says, well, who should I use at lawyers? And I say, call Ashley because there's like 7 of them in my brain
That are
Yeah.
fantastic.
that are fantastic. And then
Yes.
if they go, oh, Green Valley, use this, it's like you got them all through the city, top quality. I have not a knock for your company. I think they're great.
And it's really important because a lot of escrow companies, title companies, they have maybe 1 or 2, and if it falls off precipitously, it just falls right off the cliff after
Sure
the
does.
second one. And some don't have any, and they got great reps and great leadership, but they can't overcome the fact that they don't have great escrow companies.
Mhm.
So there's got to be a congruency across the board, and I mean it's like an all-star lineup over there.
And I didn't realize how competitive it is. We think getting an agent is bad. Getting an escrow officer over and keeping them
Right.
is very challenging in your business.
Well, and I've worked for the title companies where, I was a great escrow officer, but never had great reps. And so, I'd have a realtor that was really loyal to me, but they would be around reps, great reps from other companies all the time. So they were always
Yeah.
torn on who to use. Well, taking this position in sales, I knew that I could market any one of our escrow officers as if it was me at that desk,
Yeah.
and so I have no doubt. I never get complaint calls. They have energy. They love their job. They work hard and they grind and put their heads down. And they work harder than I did. When I think back now, I'm like, I sure messed around a lot at that office.
I think we sent. I mean, you're in Green Valley, right?
Yeah.
We for the longest time we're like, if you're in Green Valley, go to Ashley. That's what we sent.
Yeah.
Because Angie had worked with you back in the day.
Way back,
She
yeah.
said how good you were. So I didn't even know you from, at all. But because of my wife, I knew your name. But you said something I want to backtrack on. You said in the first 6 months, it was kind of like no one really knew me, and it reminds me of the 2 things you have to do. And I love where you're going with this because it's like you were committed and you were consistent. And what a lot of agents or any business people don't know is if you show up consistently, people start trusting that you'll be there.
Mhm.
When you start screwing up or screwing with how much you're there, then they don't trust you. It's like marketing. If you don't market consistently, it's basically what you're doing.
Right.
You're showing up. The more you're there, the more they're like, well, it starts out, who the hell is this new rep? Oh, just another rep. Oh, wow, we're seeing her a lot. Oh, I actually need her, she's around. Oh, she's really good. Oh, I'm using her. oh, I'm referring her. And that's the progression of consistency. But to be consistent, you have to commit.
Right.
And you've committed. You've went all in.
All in.
So that's...
And what I figured out too is that I'm not a realtor's expert. Like, I'm a salesperson right alongside another salesperson walking the same journey. So we're two salespeople, we have different clients, but we're doing the same thing. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you need to prospect, you need to do all these things, and then not show up and not do the same thing. So, it boils down to being consistent. And if I fall off, then I can't look at you as a realtor client and go, what happened here? You're not being consistent.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
That's the
You've got to walk the walk.
Exact example of hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
So she's become a fixture. We can trust her and rely on her. And I gotta tell you, even before you, lawyers, I say this all the time, and as we're on our 8th year here. 8 years. Can you believe that?
Wow, time flies.
We opened in 2012.
I was 50 then.
Right. So 8 years lawyers has been with us, and lawyers has kind of taken a similar path as us. I mean, when Steve Eanes was sitting in here, right, 8 years ago,
Right.
lawyers was just, I don't even think they had car yet. I don't think you weren't there, right?
No.
And they were growing. They took a chance on us, and we took a chance on them. And it's real easy as you get successful to forget the people who helped you get where you're at.
Mm.
And I'll never forget these people, like the Wes Friedmans, he's been with us from day one. These people, Old Republic, who's been with us from day one. You don't forget.
Public warranty, yeah.
Old Republic Home Warranty. Sorry.
Clarification.
Thank you.
I threw that in.
Francine. So, we just want to thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like you're on this end of it, but thank John and Steve. It's it doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and same for us. We're so honored to be here and be a part of your guys' growth. And like, there's nowhere else I would rather be, being in the field. I would rather work with Urban Nest agents and help you guys grow and help nurture your agents than to be out there and the rest
Just
of the
hustling and in an alley, right?
Yeah, no thanks.
You're
Slumming
here.
it.
You are meeting a lot of agents, which makes me smile because that's what we want to see, right?
So there was a video yesterday on Urban Nest that they cut. I did a huge video. It was probably like 40 minutes long of the Nest level path, and we were talking about in that video of synergy, scaling that part of your business, and part of that is building a team. And what I talk about in that video is people get kind of confused on what a team looks like. They think it's like 5 agents under them and all this. But building a team is also having someone like you.
Exactly.
Right? That's having a team around them of experts in every single field or every single part of the deal that you can rely on. Right? So you're part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an agent and you're not you don't have a go-to rep in every single part. If you don't have a go-to rep in title, home warranty, home inspection, and in mortgage, you don't have a team. If you're just flying by night, no good. You need to have relationships in place. Your clients are depending on you. That when you're like, I don't know what this is with title, you'll be like, I'm gonna call Ashley. Ashley, something in the prelim's kind of wacky. We don't know what's going on. You find the answer rather than like, I'll find the answer for you. No, I got my girl. She's going to get the answer. She's awesome. And you need that type of team and relationship in every area of your
I agree, because A, it makes you more successful, but B, it makes it easier rather than scrambling.
Exactly.
Yeah. The last thing you should be doing is babysitting your transactions and wondering if this got ordered or your client's been called to sign. When you hand it over to your team, your escrow team, you can call me and get an update. You already know that they're handling it. It's done. And that should be the case for your lender. Everybody. They take the ball and run with it when you have the right partners in place.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Stay on with us.
Okay.
Let's finish with
How young I am?
buyers or sellers market. Did you see that we got tagged in that article? It said slightly sellers. Did you see that article?
No.
You liked it. You gotta like it. Such a Facebook prostitute.
Okay.
He just likes and comments.
What
likes
do you
and
mean
comments.
we got tagged by
We got tagged in an article about where the market is this morning. You liked it. Of course you didn't read it, I could tell already. And
this morning? I like that it didn't go on Facebook this morning.
I'll show it to you afterwards, okay? Anyway, I know where he's going. Buyers or sellers market.
Buyers.
Why?
Because the buyers, and everyone talks about this, here we go. We have 3 months of inventory of it. We don't have as many buyers as we do sellers.
Oh my God.
And
How do you know how many buyers are out there?
by the number of escrows that close every month.
It's impossible to quantify.
No, it isn't.
It's impossible
because
to quantify.
by the number of closings.
That's only the buyers that have gotten off.
The ledge and bought.
Exactly. It does not quantify the buyers that are out there working
Well,
with agents.
I will only say it doesn't, but I can only go with facts. And the facts are we have less buyers than we have sellers. Houses are sitting longer on the market, and I would say it's a buyer's market because of it.
So there's this thing we've been talking about a lot. I got in coaching. Facts versus feelings. Right?
Feeling.
When you said, I know there's not a lot of buyers out there, there's no facts supporting that.
I
It's
said
a
a lot of
feeling.
buyer buying.
The facts are how many months inventory, median price, interest rates,
and how many people
and
are
how
closing.
long the
How many
houses are
people
staying
don't
on the
escrow.
market.
Go ahead.
Ashley, as I look something up, your turn. You're seeing it from, you're probably seeing the numbers from a title standpoint. What do you think? Not to put you on the spot.
I know. I feel like I have to pick between the two of
You
you.
don't.
Oh, you don't. And it's all right that I'm older and wiser, and I'll never speak to you again. No, you can say anything you want here.
I'm pulling up applied analysis stats as we speak. Continue.
I mean, I personally do think it is a buyer's market.
Oh!
I do, yeah.
Two are better than one.
It takes, as I say, if my wife is sitting here, I say it takes two brains to compete with this brain.
Oh,
So now you're
okay.
taking her.
So now it's me and you competing with the genius.
Stable genius.
A stable genius.
So
in your own words.
you didn't get that one. So
No.
anyway, I believe what I read this morning, it said it's a slight seller's market. That's the way this analyst actually predicted it, right?
And that's an analyst, which is an opinion.
And is
Of
that-
course it is, but I'm going to tell you,
Sometimes it's-
it is what you compare it to. It's context.
Okay.
It always comes down to context. So I believe if you're looking at the absolute best market, which I don't believe is, I think it's an unhealthy, unsustainable market when houses are flying off the shelf, when prices are going quickly. Not sustainable, not healthy, right? And I don't believe that's a buyer's market. I believe that is like an seller's market. That's an on fire, irrational seller's market where they could pick a number out of the cloud and boom, it sells because they have to. We had that for a couple of years.
Listen, you just said it, it's subjective. I don't know any houses with multiple offers.
But that doesn't say that it's a seller's market if there's multiple offers.
No, it just means that the buyers are out there making offers.
Here's my context. Sellers believe because there's not a lot of inventory and not a lot of beautiful inventory out there that they can just name their price.
Well,
They still have not come back down to reality, but prices are still increasing. So how can prices increasing and inventory be low? So supply is low and demand you think is not high because demand isn't here. I still think demand is outpacing supply. And I could pull up about 100 articles proving that. When demand outpaces supply, economics, you sent me to college, economics 101,
Thank you.
all right?
Thank you.
That is when you have a seller's market.
Right. But
Right?
if you got more houses, if there's 6,000 single families and 2,800 are selling, then the demand is not bigger than the supply.
No, that means you have basically less than that's a 2.5 month supply.
Obviously.
2.5 months.
Obviously.
That means
plenty.
if people stop listing their homes, all right, let me reframe. What's going to happen in March?
We're going to get real busy.
And then what kind of market it'll be.
It may change the
Oh,
sellers.
yeah.
And Ashley and I will go and change our vote.
Yep. Happens every year.
I disagree with both of you. Pea brains.
My saying he's calling my. Yeah, I'd rather be a pea brain with you than be a whatever genius he thinks. Is.
Stable
Stable.
genius. All right, let's wrap this up. Parting shot.
What?
Parting shot. Like just one last
Oh,
thing
I'm
to
like,
talk
we're doing
about.
shots now?
Yeah, I like where this one was.
Great answer.
So your parting shot could be something like, if you're looking to make a change or you need a partner, here's my information. You can do that.
That's kind of cheesy.
I agree.
You know what I've been saying lately, and I said it like 3 times yesterday, and it's not like I'm trying to make it a thing, but it's kind of a thing. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and
I like it.
you guys are my vibe and my tribe, and your people are our tribe and vibe, and
Yeah, I like
and
it.
I'm feeling it lately.
I like
so
that.
so we just need to keep our vibe going and keep attracting that tribe, I think.
One of my favorites. You attract what you are. You're a reflection of your business. I love it. Stable genius.
Stable genius. It's 2020. We have inventory. We have great interest rates. Would I buy right now? Absolutely.
So would I.
Go out there and sell it and kill it because we have a great year with nothing so far making it hard to go.
I think January will be better than last January, which was absolutely terrible. Everyone freaked out last
Right.
year. I think February will be better than last February, where everyone freaked out last year. People basically had like a 9-month year because the first quarter was caca.
Right.
So I believe when March hits, it is going to be borderline insane.
March Madness.
I really
Yes.
do. I
I'll take
really
it.
do. I believe
Nothing.
that it's
I
going to
love
be
it.
super busy. I don't think that this is the year that things change at all. I think we'll still see the seller's market that we're in. We'll continue to see. It'll get even more of a seller's market.
He's trying to win his argument.
And then lastly, basically this. Number one, it's 2020 and it's January. Everyone's pumped up and ready to go. But the reality is by the second week in February, 90-something% of people are going to be over New Year, New Me. They're going to go right back into what they
You mean
were.
like the gym?
Exactly.
Like they were saying about the
All
gym?
resolutions gone. So my simple advice is this. Progress, not perfection. Just focusing on getting from here to there. Progression. Cancel out all the white noise, all the BS, and just focus on what you have to do. Focus on your numbers. Focus on the game that you want to play. It doesn't matter what Joe and Johnny and Kate and these people are doing. It matters what you're doing. Focus on the numbers that you're at, the numbers where you want to go, what you want to see. And it's one step at a time. So don't get hung up on perfection. Just make sure you're doing more today than you did yesterday. That's episode 64. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. I'm going to women's council.